Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Rising Sign Astrology. Today, we're going to be diving into the astrology of September of 2025 and getting right into how this is going to affect you by rising sign. September is officially eclipse season, right? And the energy is anything but light. We have a total lunar eclipse in Pisces on September 7th, which is asking all of us to surrender what is no longer serving us, right? Especially illusions or expectations or maybe dreams that have proven unsustainable or feel like they're slipping through our fingers. I think it's a turning point of release and disillusionment, and just a general recalibration for wherever Pisces hits your chart. Then on September 21st, there's a partial solar eclipse at the 29th Adiratic degree in Virgo, and this is going to bring culminations and powerful endings, but also some fresh starts and seed planting around Virgo themes in your chart. And Virgo naturally has to do with health and work and service and daily routine. So this is going to be the eclipse, I think, to really keep your eye on. And it's going to be a moment to get real and reset your priorities and, plant those new purposeful seeds wherever Virgo resides in your particular chart. And in addition to that, as if it wasn't enough, Saturn is going to be retrograding back into Pisces at the very beginning of the month on September 1st. And it's going to be its final pass until 2026. So it's going to prompt one last look at where you've been asked to grow, right? Through discipline, through patience, through acceptance. And I think that Saturn being back here is just one last test, right? To determine, have you learned the lessons of the last, couple of years since Saturn entered Pisces in March of 2023. But make no mistake, the eclipses are the main event and they're here to move things forward, whether you're ready or not. And I think September as a whole is asking all of us to be very honest and very discerning, as well as adaptable. And if you can do that, I think this month can mark the turning point where we start to settle into the normal of life after the eclipse shakeups happen. As always, remember I leverage Western whole sign house astrology, but I'm also fascinated by fixed stars as well as Vedic interpretations, so you may notice elements of those sprinkled in when they're relevant to the discussion. And in today's video, you can listen for your rising sign, your sun sign, even your moon sign, but I always suggest listening based on your rising sign first, as it really shows how these transits will impact you on a physical level within the world. Then consider your sun sign for career or purpose, and ultimately your moon sign for how these shifts might affect you emotionally or on the home front. And as always, if you enjoy the content and want to hear more, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button so you're alerted whenever I post new videos. It really helps with the algorithm and telling people that this content is worth sharing with other fans of astrology like us. And if you're ever looking for a personalized reading, you can check out all of my offerings at risingsignastrology.com, and all of the booking details are there and also in the description box below this video. So with that said, let's dive into September of 2025. Okay, my Cancer rising. So are you ready for eclipse season? I think you guys have it maybe potentially a little easier than some of the other signs, which I think is good, but still no less an interesting month ahead for all of us, but also for you. And I think specifically for you, it will be an important month because as a Cancer rising, your ruler, the moon, is obviously front and center with the eclipses this month. And for you, it's highlighting your ninth house of higher beliefs, travel, and education. So themes around your worldview, personal philosophies, and long-term life direction are going to surface rather prominently. And the month is also going to emphasize communication, family life, and how you balance personal needs against your outwardly career demands within the world. So expect shifts in how you express yourself and manage your emotional landscape as these transits begin to unfold. Now, the month starts on September 1st with Saturn retrograding back into Pisces, your ninth house. And since March of 2023, Saturn has encouraged you, encouraged is a strong word, probably forced you, to mature in your beliefs and your perspectives. And now you may reconsider or revisit things in those areas. Perhaps revisit travel or education or spiritual plans that you previously put aside. For instance, you might pick up a degree or certification course again after a slight pause, or you could reflect deeply on a belief system that you once held strongly, adjusting your outlook to better align with your current life direction. And Saturn is looping back for one final pass in Pisces, bringing, one last wave of hard but probably essential lessons for all of us. And for you, it's asking you to look closely, right? Have you really learned what Saturn's been trying to teach you and to show you since March of 2023? Because this is your moment to reflect, to face the truth, and to do the inner work. Because once Saturn moves into Aries for good in early 2026, everything is going to speed up, right? And we've all had a taste of what the new chapter is going to bring. But if you haven't fully wrapped up the Pisces story the way you should, you might not be ready for what's coming next. So remember, this is your closing window to absorb that lesson so you can step more fully into the future in a very clear but also prepared way. Now, on September 2nd, Mercury enters Virgo, activating your third house of communication, routines, local community, siblings. So during this period, your conversations and interactions are going to become very focused and very precise because this is Mercury and Virgo after all. So you might find yourself effectively managing important paperwork or successfully negotiating agreements at this time. Alternatively, your day-to-day environment may just require greater organization from you, prompting you to streamline your schedules or just improve how you communicate your daily plans to people around you and the world around you. Now, when Mercury in your Virgo third house squares Uranus in your Gemini 12th house on September 3rd, unexpected disruptions might arise in your daily routines or in your communications, and it would create some anxiety or uncertainty at this time. And you might receive unexpected news that just temporarily unsettles your day, or you may experience sudden tech issues that affect your work or affect your communications with the world. Alternatively, surprising insights or secrets might emerge, and they prompt you to very quickly rethink some previously held assumptions or even plans. Now, on September 4th, Mars in your Libra fourth house of home and family squares Jupiter in your Cancer first house. So this really warns against impulsive actions or exaggerated sense of confidence, right? Specifically concerning family matters or personal decisions. You might feel overly optimistic or very quickly commit to home renovations or move or some family obligations without really considering the realistic implications and limitations around it. Alternatively, you may face conflicts between asserting your personal needs and maintaining harmony at home. And this really would require some really careful thought and diplomacy on your part to overcome it. Now, Uranus is going to station retrograde in your Gemini 12th house on September 5th. And this is going to prompt a lot of introspection around hidden beliefs or subconscious habits. You may experience sudden awareness of old patterns that are holding you back from personal growth. And it doesn't just have to be old patterns, it could also be any type of self-sabotaging behavior, addictions, too much screen time, things like that. So another way that this can manifest would be just a period of really deep inner questioning beginning, right? And it would encourage you to challenge subconscious fears or outdated emotional coping mechanisms that maybe you've quietly maintained up until this point. Now, the total lunar eclipse on September 7th occurs in Pisces, right? Your ninth house of higher education, beliefs, and long distance travel. So, similar themes from the September 2024 eclipse may reappear, but this eclipse carries more clarity and more beneficial support. So you might experience closure or resolution related to an educational path or a spiritual journey at this time, feeling more certain about your future direction. Alternatively, you might conclude plans involving travel or relocation, and it would bring some significant emotional shifts and expanded personal growth opportunities for you. Now, I did a full deep dive video on the eclipses in both Pisces and Virgo titled Everything Changes Now on my YouTube channel. And it's very deep and it's much more than I can cover in a single monthly video. So please check that out for some more insights in that regard. Now, on September 12th, the Sun in your Virgo third house is going to sextile Jupiter in your Cancer first house, along with Mercury sextiling Jupiter. So these positive aspects are going to boost your confidence, but also your clarity in your communication and your communication style. So you might successfully pitch some new idea at work or really effectively articulate some personal goals to friends or colleagues, coworkers. And, I think another way this can manifest would be maybe you enjoy some really positive outcomes from a short trip or some important community related conversation that reinforces your sense of personal direction but also optimism. Now, the Sun conjunct Mercury in Virgo, your third house, on September 13th is going to only sharpen your intellectual clarity and really enhance your decision making abilities at this time. So you might efficiently resolve misunderstandings with neighbors or siblings or complete important documentation rather quickly because that's, Mercury in Virgo. Alternatively, I think detailed planning around short-term goals or educational projects could really set you up for future success at this time. Now, on September 15th, Venus in Leo, your second house of income, finances, and personal values, is going to sextile Mars in your Libra fourth house of home and family. So this is a beneficial alignment, and it encourages financial agreements within the family, or it'll help support some more harmonious decisions around home improvements and purchases. Another way this could manifest would be you might feel inspired to invest in something or some items that somehow enhance your home beauty or comfort. And it would lead to greater satisfaction within the home and greater well-being for you within the home. Now, Mercury in Virgo is going to oppose Saturn in Pisces on September 17th. So this is going to be a bit of a tension between your third house of daily routines, neighborhood, siblings, and your ninth house of long-term plans, belief systems. So it's a day where communication may feel strained, particularly around educational goals, right? Or travel arrangements. And there could be some disagreements involving differing viewpoints at this time. So keep that in mind. Alternatively, I think this could push you to really seriously consider how your daily activities support or don't support your higher aspirations in the world. Now, Mercury enters Libra on September 18th. So this is now shifting into your fourth house of home, family, emotional foundations, your roots. So I think your communication style at this time is going to get a little bit more harmonious, a little bit more nurturing and diplomatic. And it should be positive. It should enhance family relationships at this time. You could engage in some really positive and effective family discussions, and it may help to smooth over some past misunderstandings that you had with a family member. This could also be a period that are really actively organizing or planning some events to help to strengthen your family bonds with each other. However, Mercury in your Libra fourth house is also going to oppose Neptune in Aries in your 10th house of career later that same day. So this is potentially creating confusion or some misunderstandings between your work and your family responsibilities. So you may misinterpret a professional obligation at this time, leading to scheduling conflicts at home. Alternatively, I think unclear instructions from a boss or an authority figure could create temporary confusion about your professional expectations that would then affect your home life or home plans in some way. And to continue that story, Mercury is going to simultaneously trine Uranus in your Gemini 12th house, but also Pluto in your Aquarius 8th house of shared resources. So this is a more flowing, innovative energy that's going to allow you to find and discover some probably unexpected solutions to these family matters. But it's going to be through deep introspection or some access to hidden resources, right? These 8th and 12th house themes. So you might gain sudden clarity about managing shared finances or some emotional issues within your family dynamics. Alternatively, I think intuitive insights or inner work, right? The 12th house might really significantly improve how you handle family dynamics or topics or emotional matters. Now, Venus enters Virgo, your third house, on September 19th. So this is going to now enhance your charm within your daily interactions. You might find yourself easily resolving conflicts at this time with siblings or neighbors or people within your local environment. And it would be so through very tactful communication. Another way this could manifest would be your appreciation for your local community increases in some way, and it would prompt you to engage more in social activities or neighborhood type events that bring not only pleasure but also more connection. Now, the Sun in Virgo is going to oppose Saturn in Pisces on September 20th. So this is now going to bring potential tension between your immediate responsibilities in the third house and your larger ambitions or higher level educational goals in the ninth house, right? You may face obstacles in fulfilling local obligations while also addressing long-term plans or travel commitments in some way. Alternatively, I think interactions with siblings or community members might require a lot of patience, even structured negotiations in order to avoid misunderstandings. Now, the very next day, there's a partial solar eclipse at 29 degrees, an anaretic degree, in Virgo. So this is going to significantly activate your third house of communication, short trips, siblings, and daily interactions, right? You might initiate important changes in how you communicate or interact within your local environment. You may launch a writing project or some educational initiative at this time. Alternatively, circumstances could prompt you to reassess your connections with neighbors or siblings in a way that would help you to set new, healthier boundaries. And again, for a deeper dive on the eclipses, please check out my eclipse video. Now, Mars then enters Scorpio on September 22nd. So Mars is entering your fifth house of children, romance, creativity, and self-expression. So this transit is really going to intensify your passion, your confidence, and your drive around creative pursuits or your romantic relationships. You might boldly pursue a new romantic interest at this time or really dive into a new creative project. I think you may also have some increased assertiveness within your interactions with children or loved ones that could result in an improved relationship with them, or at least clearer boundaries with them. Now, the sun enters Libra, your fourth house of home and family, on September 22nd, marking the fall equinox. So, at this time, you're really encouraged to see greater balance between your personal and your professional life. And you're likely to consciously spend more time nurturing family relationships or creating a more harmonious home environment in some way. Alternatively, you could actively mediate conflicts at home and somehow bring about greater peace and stability within your home or domestic life at this time. Now, on September 23rd, the Sun in your Libra 4th house is going to oppose Neptune in your Aries 10th house. So this is now challenging boundaries between family demands and professional responsibilities. You may feel temporarily uncertain or overwhelmed by conflicting expectations from family members or from bosses or some authority figure. Another way this could manifest would be just unclear professional directions or directives that might temporarily disrupt your domestic home routine in some way. And it requires some careful negotiation with that person in order to strike a fair balance. And finally, Mars in your Scorpio 5th house is going to square Pluto in your Aquarius 8th house on September 24th. So look out for possible power struggles within romantic relationships or, overshared financial resources. And you might need to confront difficult issues around, financial agreements or even intimacy in some way. And it would demand, because it's a Scorpio, a strategic compromise from you. Alternatively, I think intense emotions or disagreements involving children or personal projects could force you to reevaluate how you manage your emotional boundaries as well as your shared responsibilities. And my Cancers, that brings us to the end of the month from an astrological perspective. I think that this month is going to be a little wild, very telling, but also helpful in putting us all on our path. We are all in the midst of big, big changes with these eclipses. So please be sure to watch my deep dive dedicated eclipse video titled Everything Changes Now, the Eclipse Impact on All 12 Signs. Because again, I could go much deeper there than I could possibly do in a monthly video. So as always, drop a comment. Let me know how you're navigating this month, and good luck. Well, thanks for sticking with me through this video and tuning in today. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this that can help you, navigate your life with a little bit more clarity and hopefully confidence. And if you're feeling the intensity of eclipse season or noticing these Virgo and Pisces transits hitting major points in your chart, it's a powerful time to get a personalized reading and insight into what's happening. Eclipses really tend to bring fated shifts, especially when they activate key houses or hit personal planets. And I offer private, birth chart, career, relationship readings. And all of the booking details are in the description box below, or you can find my full host of offerings at risingsignastrology.com. So with that, good luck with the eclipse energies this month. They can be disorientating, but they're also deeply transformative. And remember, the end of 2025 is the final chapter in a much longer cycle, right? With Saturn retrograding back into Pisces for its last final pass, Neptune making its last rounds in the same sign later this year, and Uranus slowly moving through Taurus for its last pass this fall. We're all in the thick of this powerful, energetic reckoning and shift. And it's truly going to be a new world for all of us soon enough. And right now, they're just going to be stirring up one last deep dive into the past, spiritually, emotionally, and energetically, for the rest of this year and very early 2026. So, old illusions, outdated structures, and unresolved patterns are surfacing, but they're surfacing so you can finally close the loop. And the eclipses in this axis are part of that unraveling as well. And this is your opportunity to do that inner cleanup before early 2026 arrives, right? When Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, even Pluto, right, will all be anchored into their new signs for a long period of time, ushering in not only a new era collectively, but also personally. So we're not just turning a page, we're beginning a whole new chapter. So keep that in mind, and let's all get through the next few months with clarity. As always, thanks for being here. Take care of yourself this month. Good luck, and I will see you in the next video.